EB,
What's up, sir?
what's how you doing, bud?
I'm phenomenal.
Good, man. We're live. Me, you, and the puppies. We
Happy
rolling.
uh,
Yeah, it's good. It's good. How's it going down to Florida, man?
Oh man, it's a beautiful it's a good day. It's like 58 degrees down here, but in reality, that ain't nothing compared to what other people dealing with. Some people dealing with. I just heard Oklahoma was froze over.
Yeah,
Um, Up there with y'all at y'all like at what 30 something degrees. So
like 25 right now.
yeah, you can
Cold.
actually got all of that good stuff.
Here we go, man. Well, we're gonna chop it up tonight,
We
bro. You want to
live,
kick it
man.
off? Go. Building an
It's dope.
award-winning culture.
It's nice
That's my
that
favorite topic.
this our first time. Well, this is my first time going live on my YouTube, so that's kind of fun just to see how many people might show up. And then,
Man.
we keep doing this, and it'll keep growing, and just staying consistent, and letting people tap into the live thought process instead of just like watching the YouTube channels, which I'm pretty sure they enjoy those. But I think it's important to let people just chop it up with your boy every now and then, man. I got a guy that's he's actually been pushing me to do more lives on TikToks. I heard that TikTok, they're rewarding the people that go live now.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pushing them to the algorithm and stuff. So that's something I'm gonna start taking into consideration as well. Because I hate doing more things than I need to do, and it's just because how how my personality wired, bro. So I just be like, God dang. But it's essential for the people, man. So we gonna start make
Yeah,
sure.
we reaching the audience, man, and we're about to hit them with a good topic tonight,
It's a
man. It's
jungle
my
out here. You
favorite
ain't never
topic.
lied, running. Appreciate y'all showing up.
Yeah, Ronnie G. It's a jungle out here. There we go. I like that.
Before we get going on this topic, building a war, winning sales culture, and just cultures we've seen around the country that I've seen around the country, and just
Yeah,
things we've been a part of, and all these things. I do just want to take a second to say, I lost a homie a week and a half ago. I think it's been like 2 weeks. Real good homie of mine, and rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to the homie Destin. But I just want to talk about briefly about how it's just important to love the people in your life, man. Don't hold no grudges. Make peace. Apologize. Make amends. Um, don't let little small situations linger longer than they need to be, man. Make sure you love on the people in your life because you never know when they're gonna be here and when they're gonna be gone. So,
yeah.
I just think that's important, man. It's had me thinking about
Time
life.
is short.
Yeah, it's had me thinking about life different the last few weeks. Like it's probably been the first week I've spent not thinking about business, closing deals, making content, but just really thinking about life, bro. And I love you, appreciate you, bro. And yeah, I just wanted to, give bro some love and respect before we get popping.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you saying that, and the feelings are mutual, man. It's a very important thing, right? I had a great conversation earlier today with a contractor down in Miami. They called us up to talk about marketing, but I asked them. I started adding in a new question to my discovery, and it was like, put money aside, right? So you can't answer this question about money. It's like when you start making money, nothing is about money, right? It's about your time, it's about your family, it's about your health. So I asked them, I said, aside from making money, why are you really doing this? Trying to unpack that, man. And they said some great things, man. They wanted to impact their community, give more to their church. They were migrants from Cuba, been in business for a couple years now, into the blue roofing, and they were just like, man, just wanted nothing simple. We're appreciative to be here and just want to take care of our kids and our family and help out our community. And I thought that was amazing, man. It's a really good answer because you do. You have to appreciate the small things of life. It can't always be the business grind.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get lost in it, You sometimes you really can. And it really just took me out of it. And it's crazy how like life set things up to it. Like I've been off the last 3 weeks. I'll usually train in February. I ain't have no trainings the last 3 weeks, and he happened to die that same week. I got no training, so I was able to be present and go to all of the events that they set up. And his mom was even talking about how like the pastor called her randomly like a week and a half prior before his
Yeah.
death, just to tap in, see how she been doing. So it's like a lot of little tall tale signs that had set up, and it was just crazy, dog. it's wild. You know what I mean? Got me thinking. But nah, man, I just wanted to, I ain't mean to start it off like that, but it just really had me thinking, man, lately. Just make sure you appreciate life and love the people.
Close friend. Yeah,
So
pay tribute to the family, man. That's good.
yeah. So first and foremost, shout out to everybody that done showed up, everybody that's rocking out with us. I don't know how many views we got, but appreciate y'all being here.
All right, looks like we got 8 right now, but we just kicking off.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, it's in the top. It's in the top of the screen now.
I can't see it on my end. Who cares? I don't care if we got 8. I don't care. I did the over 10, so I took over 10 people showing up today. So
you're close. You're close.
If we get 11,
it's your YouTube. Your YouTube is leading the way, my friend.
If I get over 11, I win. That's the ultimate goal.
That's
right?
it. That's it. So, we didn't make a prize, but that's it. That's right.
Yeah, what I mean. So let's just talk about building award-winning sales culture, or what award-winning sales cultures look like, and based off experience, based off some things I've seen. And before we even get jumping into some of the topics, right? My boy Virgil say he all up in here. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, Virgil. Before we start talking about an award-winning sales culture, I do want to read the definition of culture, right? And it's a few definitions, but this is the one that I like. It says, a set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization.
Read that back one more time.
A set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization. Right?
I love that definition.
It's phenomenal, bro. Like when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, I like that, right? Shared attitudes, and
leading it off with the attitudes.
That's the first one, attitudes, right? Because attitude is everything. As you build an award-winning sales culture, like for no matter what type of team you build it. But one of my favorite quotes is by Bill Belichick is like, we don't compromise culture for talent.
Yeah.
We don't compromise culture for talent. And a lot of roofing sales companies, they compromise their culture for top talent. Like they got top performers and they allow them to get away with murder. And believe it or not, that's hurting your culture, right? So
1,000%.
Shared attitudes. Thank you, Chris, big dog. Appreciate you. Shared attitudes, values. So values are important, right? Before we start waxing, I just want to break down this definition. So values, right? One of our good friends, our third member of the group, his name Nick Brandon, owns a company called Hero Roofing down in Georgia. And he was telling me how he was interviewing a sales rep one time. And the dude, he's like, what you doing your fun time? And the dude was like, well, I like to go to the bar and I just like to hang out and drink.
Yeah.
And based off that statement, he didn't hire the guy. And most people would be like, well, it's only going to the bar and drinking. But Nick was like, our values don't align, because if he values going to the bar and drinking, that means he might go after work in a Hero Roofing shirt. And he just had the bar turned up in a Hero Roofing shirt. So we don't share the same values. So just off that, Nick didn't hire him, right?
No.
So attitude, values, goals, right? Which means as a culture, Mr. Liz, like, great job. Yeah. So we over 10.
We had 12, man. Jared, but you know what?
I called the over, baby.
I think our producer and director in the back, Jared, is over there calling up folks to make sure you win, bro.
That's my guy.
He even got the wife on there. The beautiful Elisa is on there. That's right.
Oh, that's his wife, right?
Yeah, everybody's watching today.
So goals, which means you got to have goals as a company, as a unit. Like I got my individual goals. Bruce got his individual goals, but we also got company goals, right?
Collective.
So you can't bring a guy on who don't have goals, like a guy that don't know what they after, don't know what he's trying to get, because a sales rep with no goals going to dilute your culture. Why? Because he just want to be a part of the boys club, right? And then practices, right? Which means we got similar practices, whether that's reading, studying, personal development, growth, whatever it may be. So a set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization. That's what a culture is.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So I just wanted to hit him with that before we get started, because I read that definition. I'm like, That's good.
I think it's great, man. And look, so we have different backgrounds, right? Mine is coming up in the corporate world, and yours a big part of your adult life. You've been a solopreneur, or a hustler, right? A
Roofing
1099
sales
contract.
professional.
Yeah, RPS. So I think one of the things that, we're going to talk about some different roofing company cultures across the country, but, my background being in the corporate world, working at major organizations, building award-winning teams, uh, a lot of that came from time, right? And I took more probably from the bad cultures of what we didn't want to be than I did from the good, right? Because the good you can originate and you can create and you can will in life, but the negative, which you want to exclude, you have to really warrant that. You have to bring that in so you know what not to be. So, you say culture. We have on a baseball team, as you know, my son Sawyer, he's 9, he plays baseball. Our travel program, our academy, Relentless Sports Academy, has a saying, it's we over me.
Mhm.
And I think that's important, right? Because when you think about that we mindset, if all tides rise together and the boats lift together, right? It's just a more fun culture when everybody is winning versus when only a select few continue to win. So what we're going to unpack tonight for those that are watching is we're going to really break down what good cultures look like in roofing companies, what not so good cultures look like, and things that need to improve. And then we're also going to kind of talk a little bit about some stories from my corporate career, having built a top sales team in the country, consecutively 5 years in a row, with a lot of amazing colleagues and peers, and what great leadership looks like.
No, 1000%. And and some of the bad cultures that we've seen, right? Because
Yeah.
I've flown around this country and I done been to 40 of all 30, maybe 36, 37 of the 58s to work with roofing companies. And uh, I've seen quote unquote good companies with horrible cultures to where, I've seen it where companies allow guys to miss meetings and they allow guys not to show up to trainings because they put up good numbers, right? Or they would literally excuse the guy before the guy excused himself. Oh man, he probably not gonna show up, man. He's this and that. And I'm just like, do you understand how that is actually diluting your culture? Because sales reps monkey see, monkey do, bro. It's a small percentage of sales reps that like go against the grain and stay disciplined and do whatever they're supposed to do. But as soon as they see another sales rep that get let off the hook or don't have to do certain things, they slowly start to emulate that behavior because he's a top performer, right? So that's always blew my mind. I'm like, how you spent money for me to come out here and you okay with like certain reps on your team not even being present, let alone taking part in the training, which that's a whole conversation. But
make sure they pay the final balance before you call them on it. But the reality is they should be held accountable, right? And that's kind of what I'm going to share with you. So, that brings up a good point, man. I'm going to talk about the excursion process tonight and how critical that was for me to learn in the corporate world of what it is, and how you really apply it in your roofing business. But here's what I'll say.
And especially you being because a lot of people don't know, like Bruce was a top performer for his company. Like he was the best, one of the best guys at his company when he was in the corporate.
Yes. Yeah. So not to pat myself on the back, but I was a top sales producer as an individual contributor, at different divisions of AT&T, Bell South, AOL, Reach Local, which is now Scorpion, and then at web.com, I was kind of the top guy in the country consistently, before getting promoted into leadership, really starting to build a team with my regional director and my colleagues. So, one of the things that I think can be immediately applied, and we're going to break down in depth what it is to every roofing business, is an excursion process. But before we go there, I want to talk about team accountability, and it's a little bit about what you were hinting at, Deshaun. When you think about a roofing company with 10 salespeople, and to Deshaun's point, if one of them is the top guy consistently, what are the 9 others incentivized to do? Right? Be runner up? That's a lot less rewarding. So what I had to learn is the importance of an excursion. So before I get into what an excursion is, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. I had a new regional director came over, branch manager in Tampa, Florida. His name was Rob Schreiber. He's a great buddy still today. He came in from outside the organization after I was already the top guy on the team. And he was bringing in an impact to his culture. And instead of immediately gratifying me and rewarding me because I was the top guy, he actually kind of was the hardest on me. He put the target on my back, and he brought in this process called an excursion. And I didn't know what it was, but essentially what it is, and we're going to tell you how to build it in your organization. It breaks down how to get your team motivated for everybody to produce and win. Because what roofing company owners fail to realize is what happens when your top guy decides he wants to start his own company, which we know is a problem that plagues the industry, or if he wants to leave for a better commission structure elsewhere. Does your business just go down? Right? Are you willing to accept that? So you have to build up everybody on the team. So he comes in, right? This guy's all confident, a little bit arrogant, cocky, knows what he's talking about though. He was highly sought after in the industry. And he says, hey guys, I'm going to put it out here. We're going to do an event this month. We're going to go to Busch Gardens, right? I was living down by you, Brandon, Florida at the time. And down in Tampa, we were going to go to Busch Gardens. And he says, everybody's got to be there. But here's the deal. Everybody on the team has to get at least one sale. And we have to hit 120% of our quota. Right? We have to do 20% more than the company is asking us. So he set a big carrot out there to go to Busch Gardens, right? So we had a good team. The team produces. We win the excursion. Everybody's excited. And then I pulled Rob into his office. I said, hey, man, I got to talk to you. I said, look, I like what you're doing. I think it's awesome. I said, but I make a lot of money every single day. I don't want to be out of the field for a day because I have stuff to do. I'm busy. I have a pipeline. I have customers I want to meet, etc. And we kind of had a little heated conversation, Deshaun. And he said, hey, man, he says, if you're going to be on this team, you're going to be at Busch Gardens. You're getting paid for the day. We're taking care of it, but you got to go. You got to shut down your business and you got to come be around your team. And I didn't understand it at the time. And he just told me, watch what happens. So I'm going to step back and I'm going to stop right there for a second, Deshaun. And I'm going to kind of tell you what I believe I was learning in this process, a couple of things, and then you can expand on it. First of all, the leader set the tone, not the top sales guy. So that was number one. He kind of said it is what it is, and you're not exempt because you can sell.
Hold up.
Because he was, yeah, go ahead.
No, keep that thought. I don't want that to go over people's head. The leader set the tone, not the top sales rep, right? Which meaning he was willing to lose Bruce.
Right off the gate.
Hey, you want to be a part of this team? You need to be at Busch Gardens. You know how many roofing owners I'm like, they know they'd be like, well, it's okay because he got an appointment. It's okay because he got a lead. He said you need to shut down your business and show up for a day. That's creating a culture of letting everybody know we all get treated the same. Just because he's the top performer don't mean he get exceptions or get favoritism. We holding them to the same level of accountability. Right, keep going.
That's right. That's right. No, yeah. So he says, watch what happens, right? So we get out to the park. People are talking, they're hanging out, they're drinking beer, riding roller coasters. You're seeing little friendships form, right? So you're taking a bunch of individual contributors and you're forcing them into an environment of a team to enjoy each other, to build those relationships, to build those friendships, right? And it started to click with me. And I went up to Rob and I put my arm around the shoulder. We were walking and I said, I see what you're doing. It makes sense to me now. And he said, look, man, he said, I can't have anybody be exempt from this because the entire team got here. The entire team needs to participate. It's a non-negotiable. It sets the culture. So the one thing it taught me is the leader sets the tone. Two, it taught me that everybody is accountable. When you're creating a culture of team accountability, which is how you really win, because now you're creating a sales machine. You're not just relying on one sales guy or girl, their emotions, their family, anything that could interrupt them working for you, because you have a systematic team and a culture process. It creates a lot of stability for the business owner, right? It created a lot of stability for our team. So let me expand on that a little bit more. When you think about team accountability, which is exactly what we're demonstrating in the story. You have to understand that with team accountability, ultimately what's going to happen is when you set the right parameters, and this is what it looked like for us, everybody has to get a deal. And then we have to hit 120% of our goal. He didn't say everybody has to crush their quota. The team has to crush the quota so he can make his money. And it had to be more, because if they just shot for the target and they fell short, guess what? They're under budgeted. But if you shoot for 120% and you fall short, you could still be at 100%. Right?
Mhm.
So, but the point of everybody producing, this is what that really does. It doesn't mean that everybody's accountable. One person's not going to be able to get a sale and drag them down. It means that you are putting the rules out. These are the rules. Do not cross these lines in this boundary, but go do what you want. And what I really saw, the magic was not that he was setting the tone. The magic was that I would see top producers call up lower level producers that were struggling with 3 or 4 days left in the month and saying, hey, what appointments do you have? I'm going to ride with you. Let me run the call for you. I don't need any money. I want to go to Busch Gardens, or I want to go to SeaWorld, or deep sea fishing, or whatever it was, right? Poker night or family dinner or Airbnb. So top producers then, and we talked about this the other day in the academy too, D, top producers start demonstrating, putting them at the top of their game because they are producing in front of somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, I know. I'm right there with you.
We broke this down the other day, right? So you give top producers more responsibility and a higher success rate of closing, because now they're really showcasing the best of what they got. They are not going to let these deals get away. But that also holds everybody accountable so one person isn't taking their foot off the gas. So in and of itself, holistically, right, Deshaun? The team accountability culture, implementing excursions and things like that, can start to develop a culture without you having to be the boss and touch everybody. Because now you oversee the strategy of your business, and everybody else is actually running the sales number amongst themselves because they know what the deal is. Hey, if we do this, we get this. We all have to do this. And that takes the sales pressure off of you. So that's at a very high level, and we can unpack some of that. But what
No,
do you think?
I really one of my favorite quotes is, you can't lead people you need. Like, if I need you, I can't lead you. And I think a lot of roofing owners and sales managers don't want to lose their top producers, right? So they need them. And then once top producers have leverage, they leverage their success over their sales manager and their owner. And then that is one of the things that actually starts to dilute the culture. So I always encourage roofing owners, like, don't be afraid to fire your top sales rep, dog. I know that shit hurt. Losing $1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million. Be like, Deshaun,
Yeah.
that's tough to lose. But it's gonna be 10 times harder hiring 10 more people. Like, that's way
Right.
more difficult hiring 10 more people than actually having to hire one person. I seen a clip on Instagram recently, and the dude had a top rep, and the dude just had let's just go back to the beginning, bad attitude, right? Had a bad attitude, didn't share the same values, and he made a decision to fire the top rep. And when he fired the top rep, everybody else's performance increased.
That's
So
right.
if your top rep don't want to get in alignment like Bruce did, like Bruce was like, oh, I see what you're doing. Boom, let's blow this shit up. Versus some guys, they're like, man, I don't care about this. If you got that type of guy, you got to be okay with cutting them loose, because he's going to dilute your culture. Like Bill Belichick, love him to death, right? Just because he never compromised his culture for his talented, people. He had Gronk on his team, and he told Gronk, he's like, we don't celebrate, bro. You either need to stop that, or we're going to let you go. And Gronk literally retired from the NFL because it wasn't
fall in line.
I don't think it was an injury problem. I think it was the fact he couldn't have as much fun as he wanted to have because of Bill Belichick culture, right? So I think that's important. What I do want to talk about is a culture that I recently ran into. Great company, but
Right.
the culture and the culture was good, right? But I think a thing that makes a culture even more successful, an award-winning sales culture, is a standard.
Yeah.
And I think I think high performing teams need a standard, right? You need something that holds everybody, that allows everybody to perform. Because if there's no standard, then people just flounder, right? So the goal was kind of like, hey man, they kind of just do what they want to do. Like the way they built their culture was like a multi-level marketing culture. It was like multi-level marketing. So you get to bring in people, then they're under you, and that's like your team, and you do X, Y, and Z with them. And we're kind of the big guys, but you kind of run your own sales team. And they wasn't performing at the level that they should. They had like over like 20-something people, but the numbers wasn't there. Oh, gotcha. He said anyone on here. That's funny. So, but the numbers weren't there, right? So, when I went out and trained them, I told them shifts that they need to make in their culture as far as like standards, right? Like, hey, we need to set minimums. Hey, we need to make sure guys, putting in X, Y, and Z deals. We need to change these numbers. We need to do this. Make sure the leaders out there getting, So I gave them all of these shifts. On what they need to do. And this is the interesting part. Once I left, they made the shifts, and they was concerned. They're like, man, people gonna quit Deshaun, man. I don't know what they're gonna do, X, Y, and Z. We made the shifts to the culture to turn it to a performing culture, because they had a boys club. They had a boys club. What I mean by that, they had a sales guy that was on the team for 2 years. Hear me out. 2 years.
Okay.
And I think in 2 years he sold like 20 deals. 20 deals in 2 years. Because in their mind, it was like, eventually he'll come around because he enjoys being here. He enjoys hanging out. And I'm like, listen, bro, I hear what you're saying, but this ain't the boys club, bro. This is a profitable organization. The goal is for us to make money. And if you letting a guy sit here that's underperforming, you letting everybody else know it's okay for us not to do nothing, and we'll never lose our job, and we'll never get like consequences of ridicule, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The dude ended up coming around at the end of year 2 and led the team in sales, but it took him 2 years, right?
Right.
So once I left, I told him, hey, you need to set these standards. These need to be the expectations. Like, we need to make sure guys out there knocking doors, make sure they're doing this. Long story short, they set the new standards, new expectations, everything that they want from the team. Once they did that, the team said thank you.
Right. 100%.
Like, the team said thank you. There's like, that's what we wanted. Like, we wanted structure. We wanted a clear path to success. We wanted a vision that we can grab onto. We didn't just want to be here showing up for meetings, but we wanted to be held accountable and held to a certain standard of performance. And I think a lot of sales teams, their cultures get diluted because they don't want to set minimums. They don't want to set quotas. They don't want to have those, metrics, KPIs that their team are expected to hit in order for them to achieve a certain level of success. Because they like, I don't want to make it hard on them. And it's like, it's not making it hard on them. That's exactly what they need in order to perform at the level that we expect them to.
Yeah. That's right.
I've learned that people will always rise to your level of expectations. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. A lot of people like, have zero expectations, that way you never let down. Yeah, that's in your regular dating life, right? But if we talk about business, business, you need an expectations, because most people will rise to that expectation. So this has nothing to do with
exceed it, right? I mean, set a high standard, set a high expectation, not just mediocrity. Put that bitch up there and let them go get it.
When I got in the industry, we had to bring in 5 claims a week when I first got started. That was our standard. That was our standard, 5 claims a week. And it was hard, bro. It was hard. Like, I ain't going to sit here and lie and be like, everybody was crushing it. We wasn't. It was difficult. But what it did was it created a grind in a work ethic in me that if I didn't have that standard, I wouldn't have grinded the way I grinded. Because I didn't want to get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? So people will always rise to your level of expectations. For example, me and my kids, the mom, when we was together, when we was like 15 years old, like 16 years old, we used to go on dates, and like she would just stand in front of her door. And I'd be like, what you doing? And she was like,
waiting on you to open.
Yeah, I don't open my door. My daddy always opened the door for me. And, from that day moving forward, I've always opened the door for her, but she set that expectation for me, and I rose to that occasion, right? So I think it's important in order for you to build an award-winning sales culture, you got to have standards, you got to have quotas, you got to have KPIs. And if guys don't hit them, there needs to be consequences, because where there's no consequence, there's no change. So if I know I can underperform and not hit numbers and nothing gonna happen to me, I'm gonna look around and be like, oh, they don't do shit. And I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing.
Right. Top producers that are not held accountable tend to get lazy. They do. But to your point, if you got 5 people on your team, one's really good and the rest aren't, those other 4 people, if you let that person get a pass, they lose all respect for you right out of the gate. And, you know, when you think about, I don't know what the ratios are, right? It's probably something for the Best Sales Academy we can pull into a class, what the percentage in small businesses are of how many small businesses are versus how many employees. Like, what's that percentage? Is it 10 to 1, 20 to 1? How many employees for every leader? Because so few people start a business, so few people want to lead, so many people want to be led, though. Right? The reason that everybody's not a business owner is because they're not cut from that cloth. They want to be led. They want to be told what to do. They want to be held accountable. They want to be given a path to be successful. Right? And what happens in roofing specifically is we sit across from these guys and we think just any warm body with 2 feet and a good pair of tennis shoes is going to make us money. So we promise them the world. Hey, man, well, you only making how much you make your best year? You made 50 grand. Okay, well, guess what? This is a 6-figure job. Go get them. But they have no path, not even to teach them. They have no path to emulate or show them how to be held accountable to the metrics and reverse engineering their numbers to get to the income goals that they said that you were going to give them, right? So you've made 100 grand, you've made 200 grand, 300 grand, but in order to make 100 grand, what you got to do? You got to make, what is it, 83.33 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to make 83.33 a month, you got to make whatever it is, 2,100, 2,200 bucks a week, right? So you got to know your numbers, but you need somebody to hold you accountable to those numbers to be a top producer. So if you're not holding people accountable, you're doing them a disservice because you're allowing them to run ragged with their own naivety and ignorance. And it's not that it's rude ignorance. It's just they don't know what they don't know. You're supposed to lead them. You're supposed to hold them accountable, give them a clear structure.
So real good homie of mine, his name maybe Nathan Thibodeau. I think that's what his name is. Phenomenal dude, right? And he introduced me to these concepts when it comes to cultures, right? And he said there's 3 types of cultures in a roofing sales company. And the culture we talking about, it has a name, it has a content to it. So I want to break it down, right? So the first type of sales culture is what they like to call the prima donna sales culture, right? The prima donna sales culture means everything in this culture is run by salespeople, right? Salespeople either made happy, and if they're not happy, everybody else's world is just destroyed, right? Because salespeople divas at the end of the day. So the prima donna sales culture is all about making the salespeople happy, making sure they putting up big numbers. Everybody in the office bow down to them. They talk to people however they want to, and it's all about making sure the sales reps are happy. It's like, nope, make sure you get that paperwork. Nope, make sure you do this one, right? That's the prima donna sales culture, which is probably about 80% of roofing companies.
Right? Yeah, if you're being honest, maybe more.
Yeah, probably about 80% of roofing companies, the prima donna culture.
Yeah.
Then the second type of culture that he talks about is called the monkey culture, right? The monkey culture is based off the owner has created a beautiful system. He got a great marketing. He got great leads. He got a great reputation. The brand is phenomenal. And he tells sales reps that, like, only reason you're selling because of my brand. Only reason you're selling because of my brand. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be doing this. I could fire you any day, hire a new sales rep, and I can replace you. Right? You run into a few monkey cultures here and then. I've seen them personally. I know some monkey cultures where the owner is almost like a tyrant, and he brings guys in, turn them into top producers, and fire them because he said, I can build another one of you like it ain't nothing, right? In those cultures, you may be making money, your company may be doing good, you may be at 5, 6, 10 million, whatever it may be, but believe it or not, nobody in that company trusts you, and everybody operates out of fear, not out of respect. Right?
Yeah.
And then the third type of culture is what they like to call the hero culture. And the hero culture is when sales reps, office admin, and upper management, they all stand in the gap for each other, right? They communicate from top to bottom, which means the top leader go all the way down to the bottom to make sure everybody get the message, make sure everybody get the information. You know, if production messes up a job, the sales rep don't say that's production fault. He steps in the gap and say, you know, what can I do to fix it, right? If the
Right.
office admin don't get follow up with the insurance company, they don't say they ain't doing their job. He say, you know what, you got a lot on your plate. Is there anything I can do to take it off to help you get a little bit better, right? Make your job a little bit easier. So when you're in the hero culture, everybody stands in the gap and everybody has each other back, right? And there's accountability, there's structures, there's expectations, there's values, there's all of these things. And the hero culture is what every roofing company should be gearing towards, right? Where everybody stand in the gap for each other. But I believe most roofing companies live in the prima donna culture, or they live in the monkey culture. And if you get to a place where you could develop this hero culture where, you know, every man for all for one and one for all, where everybody got each other back and everybody show up for each other and everybody looking out for each other, you could build an exceptional sales culture that will thrive even in the midst of your absence. Because with the homie Nick Brandon, he's supposed to be on the call, but he in the Bahamas.
He's in the Bahamas building a culture. He's
in
out with
the
his
Bahamas with his
he's
top
out.
sales reps, ain't he?
His $1 million plus producers took
All
him
the
to the
$1 million
Bahamas,
producers in the
and
Bahamas.
he just had an award ceremony 3 weeks ago that I was invited to.
The
for
roofies.
all of his sales team and the Roofie Awards, all of his organization, rewarding everybody, receptionists, subcontractors, general manager, all of them. Right? It was a big deal, but now he took his top salespeople out, so he's heavily focused on his culture.
No, Nick has built an exceptional sales culture. It's nuts what he's built over there at Hero Roofing. But where I was going with this thing. Nick. One thing I've noticed
The
about
hero culture, yeah.
in his sales culture is when he got bought out by private equity, the culture didn't shift. Right? Because he built it so beautiful because they got such a, like literally they call Hero Roofing, but they got such a hero culture where everybody has each other back. Of course, everybody was on the fence a little bit, but I've been learning that these private equity companies, they're just not coming in here trying to buy your numbers. They're trying to buy your culture too.
They want to buy your culture and your brand. That's where the money's at. So if you're not focusing on all of the things, right? Good companies that do marketing well get reviews on Google. Great companies like Nick's get everybody in the organization from sales to non-sales people doing TikToks and Instagram reels and going live and asking for referrals at lunch. And they're all bought in because they love it, because the culture is so phenomenal. They can't stop thinking about work, right? Because work doesn't feel like work. It feels like family. It feels like where I want to be, where I have fun. In many cases, I bet in Nick's organization, some of those people, work might be the best part of their day. Right?
About it. I know. And another thing that Nick did phenomenal, right? Because I think a lot of people they overlook this part when it comes to like building a really successful sales culture.
Yeah.
Your top sales rep don't necessarily need to be your trainer. Your trainer for your company, your onboarding trainer, like once you bring on new guys, the guys you want to send people with, is the guy who's bought into the culture the most.
Right.
It's not the top. It's not. That's where people drop the ball. Like, oh, this is my best guy. Go out with my best guy. No. Send him out with the guy who represents the culture the best.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna get him bought into the core values. He's gonna show him what to do, how to do it, the best way to do it. Now you done duplicated the culture. You didn't duplicate the top performer.
Right.
Because if you could
duplicate, that's what you want to duplicate.
Turn you into a top performer.
Amen. And yeah, that's such a good point, man, because I will tell you at many organizations, we call them ride-alongs, right? Because we would drive to our appointments, we would go drive to a strip plaza or business park and start banging doors, right? And so we're riding, and I was a top producer. Oftentimes they would want to put somebody in my car. Eventually I got to enough clout where I said, hey, I don't want anybody ever riding with me to shadow my appointments, but I am happy to go help anybody on their appointments. And this is why. Because I learned exactly what you're saying. I am a very good marketing sales professional. I can get it across the finish line in most cases when it makes sense because I'm honest and people just trust their gut, right? But I don't always know how I do what I do or how I say what I say. So if you don't know what you're doing, it just works. You can't teach that. You can show it, but it doesn't mean that you're the best person to show it. But the person that's bought in on the culture should be teaching them what it means to be, in Nick's case, what it means to be a roof hero, right? So your best salespeople, this is where the roofing industry as a whole is so jacked up because they think somebody brand new can go out and do what somebody seasoned can do. And the person that's seasoned can barely even articulate what the hell he does or she does. They don't even know. It's just how they operate. It's wired in. So this person needs to learn the process, the culture, what is the right way to do it, and then maybe get some demonstrations, but certainly not just throw them in the car with them and tell them to go. That doesn't work.
Hey man, it's a dude named JC that works for Hero Roofing, and I don't think if he's done $1 million, it's like 1.1, maybe 1.2. And he's been there since I've been coming to train with him, and I've been training with them for almost 4 or 5 years. But this guy is not an extremely top, like he's not an elite producer.
Yeah,
love JC, but he's not. But he's the onboarding trainer. He's the onboarded trainer. Why? Because he represents Hero Roofing the best. Like he's bought into the culture. He's loyal. He follows all the rules. He do everything Nick asked him to do. And now he's turned into the onboard trainer. And Nick was like, what do you think about JC being the onboard trainer? I'm like, that's the best thing you can do. Like, that's the best thing you can do for him in the company because he represents Hero Roofing the best, bro. Like he loyal, he ride for you. And now their new trainees that's been coming in has been performing tremendously. And it's because JC understands what it takes to quote unquote be successful, not be a top performer, but be successful to you got at least sell $1 million. And if you could bring on 4 guys that's doing $1 million, you got a good problem on your hands, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing he has done a phenomenal job at doing, right? I love that about Nick. But we like at 8:40. We going till 9, or we just rocking out? What we doing?
We're just rocking out. Yeah, if we're still on at 9, we'll probably hop off, man. But let me break down that excursion a little bit more before we get out of here tonight too, because I think if there's any leaders on for sure that this is gold right here, guys. And we have video courses on this in the academy. But here's the number one thing you want to know as a roofing company owner or a sales leader interviewing people. Most top sales producers, hear me when I say this, most top sales producers are not motivated by money. I'm going to say that one more time. Most top sales producers are not motivated by money. You know why? Because they already have it. Because they've been a top sales producer. So if you're recruiting somebody from another organization that says they're a top sales producer, and all they're talking to you about is money and how much can I earn and this and that, that's not really a top producer, right? When you start making money, it is so not about the money. So people like time off, they like public recognition, private recognition and praise, team lunches and outings, the excursions, right? Where you could set a budget up and you could say, hey guys, this is your team and it's your culture and I'm just driving the ship. So we're going to spend $5,000 this month and we're going to go do a team event if you do these 2 things. Everybody has to close a deal and we have to hit 120% of XYZ quota, right? But here are 3 things that fall within the budget. You give them 3 different options of things to do that can burn up that budget, 3,000, 5,000, whatever it is. You take them out for a day. It has to be during work hours. And you have to make it fun. It can't feel like work. It's got to be something fun, right? So putting my boy Joey on blast, you're going to go train 44 Roofing up in the Ville, up in Louisville very soon, right? They're in the academy. He's got an amazing culture. He's all the time clowning around with his team, man. They're like a family. Like he'll take them out duck hunting, take them to lunch and just BS with them. But then he treats them really well too, man. And they have fun. And it's not just his sales guys. When you follow his social media, go follow 44 Roofing guys in Louisville, Kentucky. He's taking out his office manager, his admins, his GMs, doing photos with them, treating everybody with the same level of respect because top salespeople are always put on a pedestal. But really, top salespeople could not be anything without the operations team, the production team, the fulfillment teams behind them. So everybody in the organization gives them the freedom to go close the deals and continue to execute. So a salesperson is worthless without a powerhouse team behind them. So make sure you give them praise to everybody else. But that's what I would tell you guys, man, is the number one thing you could do if you take anything away from this conversation tonight is think about putting out a goal for your team, give them the entire month, give them 3 options, let them pick what they want to do because you want this to be their reward. They're going to fight harder for it when it is their choice, not you telling them what they're going to do, but they chose it collectively. They came to terms, they voted on it, whatever it is. And then set the carrot out there and see what happens. And I bet you'll be pleasantly surprised. But you got to be able to stay out of their sandbox. And you got to let that culture start to create itself in the world of team accountability for sure.
And I'm gonna bring it back like from the beginning. You never compromise your culture for talent. Meaning, don't keep guys around that starts to dilute your culture and what you've built. Because as much time as you put into building a successful sales culture, somebody can come in and just wreck it, right? That's why when you onboarding people, you got to ask proper interview questions. You got to make sure that they align with, the people on your team. You don't just bring a guy in on your team because he want to join your team. You got to make sure that he a good fit for the culture. Because if he not, he gonna mess up what you already built, and then you're gonna have to deal with all the turmoil and the friction and the killing of momentum by bringing on the wrong person. I've seen Nick, and just because me and Nick talk all the time, I've seen him bring a guy on and he tell me, hey, he was here for 2 weeks, but he didn't fit in with the culture. We had to let him go. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. Don't compromise your culture for talent. Don't let your top performers get away with murder. Have standards, have clear expectations and roadmaps for them to get to the success that they want to. And when you're onboarding, stop sending people with just your top performers. Actually get the guy on your team that you feel like represents your company the best, that can teach them that part. Because the top producing part, we can get them there. But if we can get you thinking and bought into the culture sooner than later, now we got to do less work on the back end.
Right. That's right.
Right. So just some things to take into account and be mindful of and, conscious of as you continue to build a sales culture, because it's not easy. It takes time. Like it does take time. You look at Dan Campbell for the Lions, bro. He's been building this Lions team up for like 3-4 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now they're there to where like they got this culture of nitty gritty, grinding, going for it on 4th down, just a very risky team. And you can see it in their players. Like you could just see it. I think they would have competed for the Super Bowl if they 14 players on their defense wasn't hurt. But that's a whole other conversation. Like you got 14 players on your defense, you're gonna lose eventually, right?
Absolutely, man. But think about it like this. Here's the thing. When you get to the professional level, right? These pro coaches talk about the Dan Campbells, the Bill Belichick's, whoever it is. The standard is the standard, guys. So you need to be that front of the class learner. And here's what I mean. Deshaun and I were at the ABC's of Success recently. He was doing a keynote breakout. And there was, 2 rows, about 6 chairs on each side, right? And then all the way back in the room. And there was several people filling up the front rows. And they were taking notes, man. Everything he said, they were writing it down. And they had their phones propped up and they were recording. Those are the front of the class learners. Those are the people that are going to take what Deshaun says, what we say in the academy, turn around on Monday morning and immediately implement something in their business that's going to improve because they realize certain coaches and trainers know more than they do. Just like if we were to get somebody to put a roof on our house, Deshaun, they should be the experts. They should know more about roofing than sales coaching, right? So be a front of the class learner. So if you took anything away from this or any of Deshaun's trainings, for those of you that are watching that have brought Deshaun out to your organization before, what so many people do in that complacency leadership mindset because they don't want to ruffle feathers is they bring in the coach gives them the formula, gives them the roadmap, the playbook, whatever you want to call it, tells them exactly what to do, and then they don't do anything because they're scared, because it's going to change or disrupt. Right? You've seen that. I know, Deshaun. You see it all the time.
All the time.
I mean, as the door hits you in the ass when you're leaving these roofing companies, every single week, and you're getting ready and you get on the plane, I bet you think to yourself, man, I wonder if that one's really going to do anything that we shared. And that's the reality. So guys, implement something. You're not going to build your amazing award-winning culture overnight, but if you already have a good culture and you're looking to go to great, take a small component, take some accountability, throw an excursion out there for a month, watch it happen, and then you're going to never want to stop doing it. But find something that you can implement that's unique to add to this.
Amen. We got like quote unquote 10 more minutes. Anybody got any questions or in it, like,
yeah,
it may be how many viewers we got? If we got 3 left, 2 left, 1 left, 10 left.
I think I was still over 10, man.
Let's go,
baby.
Game time.
I'm gonna have to get you a lunch, bro. Who's got the question?
Hey, I got faith in the Roof Hustlers community, bro. Like, I feel like if we keep doing more of these lives, I think they can get up to 50 plus, up to 100 plus, bro.
We'll be up. Yeah, we'll be up there in no time.
We will continue to keep
very
doing,
little
I just
promotion.
want to let y'all know, we plan on doing these once a month. We're gonna be doing these lives once a month consistently. Even if I'm on the road, I will be to my hotel room, going live. Me and Bruce getting it popping. So these will be consistent.
We'll bring Nick in when he's around too. He brings a lot to the team from
leadership. We
might get
a couple special guests on here to come in here and just talk and chop it up with us, like teach some things. But
hey, here's another one too. Right now, man, we just launched the Best Hustler Academy, Facebook and Instagram. So go follow us. Go follow us there. We drug our feet for a couple of years because Deshaun had such a following through the Roof Hustlers. We were kind of teetering if it made sense to do it or not. We're committed now. The bow tie is out there, baby. So go find it. You can follow us at Roof Hustlers, Best Roofer Marketing, or the Best Hustler Academy now.
Please, they all
connect. The match.
What's your favorite Grant Cardone quote? Jared, funny.
How often will you guys be broadcasting? What's your favorite Grant Cardone quote? Oh, you got one, don't you?
Yeah, my favorite Grant Cardone quote is every industry got a gap in it. If you can close the gap, you'll make a lot of money.
And that's we might have to go live next about that. How often will you guys be broadcasting? We'll be broadcasting once a month, Ronnie. We're going to do it at least once a month. And it's usually going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific in the evening. We want to hit people after work, make sure that we can do it when people are on their phone.
Yeah, when y'all not in the field hustling, closing deals and shit, because y'all got every excuse in the book why you can't make it. So that's good. But also what I'm thinking in due time, me and Bruce gonna, chop this thing up, but we're gonna find a way to give out some type of giveaway with this thing with the Best Hustler Academy. Maybe give you guys like a month free, 2 months free. People that keep consistently showing up. Like we're gonna figure out a way to give y'all something instead of y'all just showing up and watching us talk. We want to make sure we give back to the community and give y'all an opportunity to plug in with the academy. So we're gonna come up with like a promo code or something, or just give somebody the academy like a month or 2 for free, just to let you come.
I'll tell Ronnie and everybody else who spoke up now, they can go right now to the besthustleracademy.com on the resources page, and they can download the $1 Million Script for free.
For free, yeah. I'm glad you said that, and I'm sorry we said
free. The PDF, the PDF is there.
From door knocking, I'll stay tuned. See, that's Ronnie. He just got back from the crib, but I meant to put this. I meant to say this in the beginning. We're gonna just
get him, Ron.
But if you go to besthustleracademy.com, besthustleracademy.com, click on the resources tab. As you can see, the red line going across the bottom. Click on the resources tab and download the $1 Million Script for free. It's a script I've been using for the last 9.5 years. It's a script that I go out and teach and train companies with. You only can get access to this script if you pay for it. And we decided to give it away for free. So go to the besthustleracademy.com, click on the resources page, download the $1 Million Script, get the script for free, start implementing it, start getting results, and start making you some money, man. So it took me 10 years. 10 years.
Look at that. A producer in the back, bro, is fire. Big shout out to Jay Reezy real fast in the back, man. besthustleracademy.com up there. Download the script for free. I love that. Interactive.
Hold on. Stephen Ball, our small team is watching. What advice do you have for a new roof company with no leads? I know this. I know you want a more in-depth answer, but like this is the simplest thing I can tell you.
Call Best Roofer Marketing? No.
Right. Call 2 things. Best Roofer Marketing, right? But seriously though, strap your boots up and go hit doors and go get familiar with the neighborhoods and the community. When I got into the roofing industry 10 years ago, I had no leads. They just gave me neighborhoods. And I just went out there and knocked my life away. And I went out there and met as many people as I can. Also, outside of just knocking doors, wear your company shirt everywhere you go. If y'all got dry fits or t-shirts, wear them to the gym, wear them to the grocery store. Everywhere you go, let people know who you are and what you do. Always keep business cards on you. Always keep flyers on you, because you never know who needs your help. So always be selling, right? Right, always be selling. ABC, always be closing, but always be selling. Go to your kids' birthday party, show up in your work shirt, dog, and give us some business, right? But the best thing you can do is knock doors, man. We, like my boy Sam Taggart say, we want to be carnivores, not herbivores, right? Money follows attention, right? So yeah, get out there, get in the field, get familiar with your community. I promise you, if y'all make a daily goal to try to get in front of 25 homeowners every single day, you will close at least 3 deals and you'll start generating you some business. You'll start creating a presence in your community and people will start coming to you.
Yeah. And Steven too, man, you can go and click the book a demo tab. I'm not going to speak for Deshaun because he's busy, man, traveling, but if you want 30 minutes, bro, just snag 30 minutes on my calendar at Best.
He just said we're going to be booking a call for you next week. He just said it.
Yeah. Awesome. Easy, oh, it's delayed on my side. Okay, I got it.
Oh, yeah, I can see them as soon as they pop up. I don't wait for them on the screen. They pop up in the little chat. Yeah, we got 5 more minutes. Anybody else got any other questions? Sales question, mindset questions, strategy, tactics, principles? You want to hear what I said? The
leadership,
objections, it's whatever. We got like a few more minutes before we get ready to end this thing.
Yeah,
I'm excited about these though, man. We're gonna be doing these once a month.
These are good.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
And we're gonna have numerous topics. We decided to start off with this one. We definitely gonna talk about these 4 types of homeowners, 4 types of salespeople. Some of y'all don't know about that, so I definitely want to talk about the different personality types, how to sell them, how to approach them at the door. And I'm going to talk
integrating video in your integrating video in your individual sales game, right?
Yeah.
As a seller, and how to capitalize on video.
All types of stuff. I want to tell y'all how I read Bruce like a book, and he wanted to fight me, but I was right.
That's that 80-20, 20 owl, 80 bulldog, baby. We're gonna have to unpack that one for him next time. That 4 types of homeowners, 4 types of buyers, then Bruce.
You know what I mean?
1 in 8 billion. Let's go.
But we got about 4 more minutes. Anybody else got any other questions, anything before we get ready to get up out of here? We don't want to drag this thing on longer than we need to. These things are going to continue to get better. We're going to continue to polish them up. Also, all of my industry homies that I got great relationships with, I can get a good amount of those guys to come on and we're just going to chop it up. We don't want to turn these things into full-blown trainings, but we do want to talk about important information that you could take, go apply, and get some results. But we also don't want to sit here and lecture you for an hour, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, it's going to be more interactive. We'll start taking questions throughout next time. Thank you guys for participating. D, I think we'll go ahead and let them sign off. And then we'll be doing this in a month, guys. You can follow us on our socials, Best Hustler Academy, on all the channels we'll be putting out there when we are lined up with our next date and time.
Yeah, one more question. What's the best way to deal with an uneducated homeowner who thinks they know more than us? Hey, that's funny, Steven. We get that all the time. The best way to deal with those homeowners who are uneducated and we know more than them is ask them the questions that you know they don't know the answers to, so they can realize they don't know as much as they think they know, and then they'll start eating out of your hands, right? So, for example, if they like telling you about this and this, we know how insurance works, we know this, you'd be like, oh, no, I completely understand, sir. Help me understand, what do you know about this process? And don't say nothing and just let them go. And let them realize how much they don't know. And you say, well, listen, man, you sound like a pretty educated guy, even though they're not. You sound like a pretty educated guy, man, and it's nice that you've done your research and you're aware. But could I help explain to you why it's in your best interest to have us involved into the process, or the impact we've made for our prior clients and the reason why they hired us? Because most people don't know as much as you, so that's awesome. You should be easy to work with, right? Yeah. So now you edifying them, but you also letting them know, like, condescending, like, you don't know shit. But
yeah,
ask them the questions you know they don't have answers to, so they can realize there's a gap in where you are versus where they are.
That's it. Hey, man, that's a good one to drop the mic on, baby. That was good. Appreciate it.